So for the second part of sketching Ravindra Jadeja, our main focus will be on sketching the nose, lips, beards, neck and smaller parts which are his clothes. So starting with the nose and smaller parts under eye, our main focus will be on how to make a base layer. Base layer we all use 2B pencil, and I am using 2B pencil for a base layer, or graphite pencil. You can also use HB pencil if the skin texture of your reference picture is layer a bit more fair. HB is the lightest one and 10B, 12B are the darkest ones. So don't use above 3B pencil for making a base layer. Those are the must things. First, make a base layer and just highlight or apply more shadows or use more pressure using your 2B pencil on the parts like the left side of the nose, which is more darker as compared to any other parts. Use this technique on the base layer also, so that you don't have to make outlines for 3B or 4B base layers or second layers. Don't use a charcoal pencil on skin texture, as I told you before, because if you will use charcoal pencil on skin texture, it will look totally weird or it will not be blended easily. You can use charcoal powder for making base layer, but that technique is different one. I don't use that technique. So now for making the smaller parts of the cheeks and remaining parts, I am using a makeup brush for blending those base layer, which was of 2B pencil. If you will see any picture or any photograph or any sketch or any person, the first focus of yours will be on the eyes, nose and the lips. So while making any sketches, just focus on these three parts first. Then if the hairs or neck or anything looks layer a bit up or down, that will not be visible easily. But if you will make mistakes while making eyes, lips or eyebrows or any other parts, it will be visible totally perfect in first phase. Or just focus on these three parts first and then go for any other parts. Don't do mistakes while making eyes, lips and nose. Those are the most important parts while making a portrait sketching. Now for making the highlighted parts, you can use mono eraser also, but most of the people, just like me in the previous days also, months ago, I don't have mono erasers, so I have used a rubber and using a blade I have cut it into a little bit pointed type, so that I can use it as a mono eraser or a pointed eraser for making those smaller details. You can make skin texture using two small lines, or you can also use mechanical pencil, which are the pointed one, for making those smaller details. But you can use this technique only if your reference picture is totally HDR or more detailed one or more resolution one. If your photograph or the reference picture that you are using is totally flat or not more resolution picture, you cannot give the skin texture. But if you are an advanced artist, you know that where skin texture is going upward, downward, so that you can go directly to make 250 or 500 sketches first, so that you can see where the noses are starting, where the eyes are ending, or you can see the structure of the face easily after making those sketches. Don't make mistakes like I have did 6 or 7 months ago, that I was making sketches in just 1.5 hours, 1 hour. I was making drawings. Those are drawings, but those are not a perfect portraits. So that if you want to make it realistic, you have to give more and more time to your sketches. Now as you can see that the skin texture is looking a bit more highlighted on the right hand side, and the reason is that light source is on right side, so of course it will be a bit more lighter, and the darker part will be on left side, but it is not as much dark as we want, because up to 3B pencil it is more useful, but don't use above 3B pencil if your skin texture or the skin color of the reference picture is a bit fair. Now for making the beard and the remaining part of hairs, I am using a medium charcoal pencil. And technique for making a beard is two type of techniques. You can use charcoal powder and just blend it, and using a makeup brush or any brushes and just make a base layer, and then go for a details just like I'm doing of the hairs. But I'm directly going for a medium charcoal pencil and stroking like smaller hairs from upside down. Don't go for direct down to up. If you will focus any beard like your brother, your father, just see the difference that the hairs are going downwards. No hairs go from left to right or right to left. Those hairs of beard will start from upside and go for downside parts. So keep on focusing where the beard directions are going. So after using your reference picture details, you can give more and more details to your sketches. Now as you can see that while making beard, I have used medium charcoal pencil as a base layer. I have not used soft charcoal pencil because it is the darkest one and it will give me a totally dark look of the beard, and the beard or the smaller parts between the beards are not white of Ravindra Jadeja, as you can see from the reference picture. So don't give more highlights or details to your sketches if you cannot or you will not see any details. Don't apply details from yourselves. Just see the reference picture and make more sketches. Now as you can see that the main part of the lips is starting from middle and upwards time. On the lower part it is more darker as compared to upper lip, but the middle part of the lip is more darker as compared to upper and lower parts. For making those details you have to use a 3B or 4B pencil. Don't use above 5B pencil because those parts of between the lips are not darker as we want, or the reference picture, in the reference picture or any picture, if you will make the middle part of the sketch more darker or the middle part of the lips more darker, it will look totally drawing look and it will not look realistic as we want. So for making lips visible, don't make outlines, just make a shaded part first, and using 2B pencil make a base layer and apply, leave smaller parts in between lips that will give you a more detailed look. So first of all use a base layer as a 2B pencil, make details, apply more pressure to the end of the parts, then finally use 3B pencil for making more darker values, and in the end use 5B pencil for making the totally dark part, not every part but totally dark part of the lips. Now for remaining part of the beard, just use soft charcoal pencil for making those darker parts. You can blend those medium. When I used a medium charcoal pencil, I didn't use a makeup brush for blending those parts. So finally I am using a makeup brush for blending those parts, and for the second layer I will use soft charcoal pencil for making it look more realistic. You can sharpen your charcoal pencil frequently using blades. If you are under 12 or 13 years, just ask your parents how to shade using charcoal pencil with blades or how to cut with blades. Don't use sharpeners or any other things for sharpening your charcoal pencil because those sharpeners are not made for sharpening your charcoal pencils. You have to use blades, or the sharpeners for making or sharpening charcoal pencils are a little bit more expensive as compared to graphite pencils. So use blades for cutting those sharpeners, or sharpener has also blades, you can use that blade also. Using those blades, just cut down your sharpeners and make pointed one so that you can apply more and more details using your charcoal pencils. Now for making the neck, the base layer will be of course of 2B pencil. Now see the details that the darker part of the beard and the face, the shadow is going downwards. So of course the beard will make shadow on the neck. So for making those neck more realistic, use a 3B pencil as a second layer. Blend the first layer of 2B using an earbud, as it is a skin texture. There are not as much details as you want, so make a base layer using a 2B pencil, then use a earbud or tissue and blend it, and as a second layer use a 3B pencil for making those shadows. Now for making the remaining parts of clothes of the right hand side shoulder of Ravindra Jadeja, use charcoal pencil because I am not using a color pencil for making those parts, because of course the reference pictures or the Ravindra Jadeja is wearing black parts, so use charcoal pencil for making those black parts of clothes. Just use a hard pencil or medium charcoal pencil for making base layer. Then finally go for soft charcoal pencil for the only parts which are more darker, because of course not every part of the cloth is totally dark, not every part of the clothes is totally highlighted. So for making those look more realistic, use a first part as a base layer using a medium charcoal pencil or a hard charcoal pencil. Then second layer of a soft charcoal pencil, only parts which are more darker. So use a sharpener or any other blades for making those smaller parts. Don't use directly your charcoal pencil and apply more darker values to your sketches, because it will look totally weird and your sketch will be ruined. So as you can see that I am using soft charcoal pencil for making the darker parts, and I will blend it using a blending stump. First of all, use blending stumps only on the parts which are more darker, and the reason I will give you on the part 3. So that was all for this tutorial. If you have learned something from this video, subscribe and drop a like. Comment down your question and queries regarding this tutorial. Meanwhile, take care of your loved ones too. Have an artistic day. Tattoos.